Hey guys, this is Emerald Fire, and today I'm going to be starting a new project called the Calculator Project, in which I build a redstone calculator in Minecraft. I don't really have a plan for the full calculator, but I started building an adder out of comparators, and it inspired me to go ahead and build the whole thing. Now, I've actually tried to build a calculator in Minecraft before, and that was pretty much when I just first started, and I was really fascinated by the redstone and learning computer logic, but as it turns out, what I was building was really inefficient, but it was still great practice, and it was really fun learning, and so although that has been scrapped for quite a while now, I feel like I'm ready to start again, and I'd like to share this process with all of you. So what I'm going to be doing, like I said, is building a calculator based off comparator logic, and what made me want to do that was Cubehamster's video of a decimal comparator adder. This is an adder that works with signals, and they have, in this case, 15 different strengths, but we're only going to be using 10 of them to make it, instead of a binary adder, which means we can skip one step of the calculator, which is the binary decoder. These things are often very troublesome, the binary decoders. They take binary signals and put them into decimal, and it is actually that part that I ended up not finishing the last time I attempted to make a calculator. I had a design for it, but I got tripped up and I couldn't make it work. But with this, it sort of skips out the step, and what I wanted to do originally was just make his adder more efficient because he only made a proof of concept. So I did a little research on YouTube, and I did find one other guy that made one, but that was also right when comparators came out, so I could probably have made that one more efficient also. And so I gave it a try, and now I'm going to take what I've learned here and attempt to do the whole thing. But I'll just start off where I did start off in making this, and that is with a signal strength inverter. Now, as you are aware, an adder adds numbers, but comparators only have a subtract function. And also, we can't have negative signals, so we can't really subtract negative numbers, which is equal to adding. So what I kind of did was make fake negative numbers by inverting the signal strength from 15. So what you got here is 0, and as you can see, 0 signal strength here, and the inverse of that would be 15. But if I go ahead and put in a signal strength of 3, you'll see 3 are taken off from here and put here because now the inverted signal strength of 3 is 12. So that's a pretty simple concept, and that was the basis I used for the adder, because I'm going to have to subtract things in inverse and then invert that again. So moving on, this right here, this is a number pad that I made so I could enter numbers when the calculator is more complete. I actually haven't used that yet, but as you can see, when you press the button, oh, here's the diagram for the numbers, it outputs that signal strength, and you could also use levers too, but buttons would be what I would use in the final design anyway. So etc., all the way up to 9. And then if you wanted to have, well, you would need to have a button for 0, you could just put that right on here and then take a signal from that. But other than that, it's pretty cool actually. It's not that big, but what it does is make the signals decay into exactly what that number is on the pad, and the output is right here on the magenta wall, and the signal strength will determine how many lights it goes to light up. So that's pretty cool, but I haven't used that in any other designs yet. The main part of this video is going to be the adder, because I have finished the adder, and that is the first part of making any calculator. And here we go. Oh, first I'll show you this. This is an adder that cannot carry. So what that is, excuse me, is when you add two numbers such as 9 and 7, that'll make 16, and 16 is more than 10, so you'll need to carry the 1, and then you'll have 6 in the first digit, and the 1 will be carried and continued over to whatever additions are in the next digit. And so here it's really simple, but like I said, it doesn't carry, so this can't be in the calculator, and this is what's known as a half adder. And as you can see by the sign, it says S is less than 16. S stands for solution, and it has to be less than 16 because there are only 15 redstone signal strengths, 16 if you count 0, but 0 is also less than 16. So if I go ahead and add 3 and 8, then you'll see I get 11, because this is the full 15, and 15 minus 4 is 11, and this works with different things, so I'll go ahead and add 3 and 5, that'll get 8. But now if I add, let's say, 7 and 9, or, let's go with 8 and 9, because that'll make 17. Of course, it'll be maxed out, but it's only at 15 right now. So that is where the carry comes in, and that is where we need additional logic. Here was my first go at this. When I first did this, I hadn't watched, well, I had watched Cubehamster's video, but I hadn't watched any others. And there was only one other that I watched, but I'll get into that a little later. And as you can see here, does not work. That's because the first time I did this, kind of like a practice round, it did not go very well. This thing is pretty bulky, to be honest. And there's a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be there, apparently, based on my second design. And it does not work because I needed a NOT gate somewhere where I just had a standard output. And a NOT gate in this case would be the inverse of that signal strength. So a NOT gate normally in binary adders would take a signal that is on and turn it to off, and off and turn it to on. That's what this redstone torch does. The redstone torch acts like a NOT gate. But it was too difficult to try to fit it in this mess, so I abandoned that, and then I did some research on YouTube, and I found one other video by a guy called the BeardedCow, and in his video he used a different algorithm for one part of it that was much more efficient. It's like twice as efficient as mine, and I won't get into detail on that. I'll get into detail on this one over here. So this one is pretty much how it works. Now keep in mind that comparators, they have their limitations are that they can only subtract, and at no point can the signal or the solution or output or whatever go above 15. So what I have here are some maths that will do just that. They will perform the adding function with a carry, and they will not go above 15 at all, and they only subtract. So what I have here is if 14 minus a minus b is more than 4, which translates to if a plus b is 10 or more. So if there is a carry, but this one is if there's not a carry, because that will mean it's less than 10. The solution equals the carry in, so if this one supports carries, and if there's a carry in, it'll add that in, plus 14, so that works so it never goes above 15, minus 14 minus a minus b. Now if you use the distributive property there, you will see, if you simplify, right, and use the distributive property to all these negatives, it simplifies to a plus b plus c. Plus cn, that is. And it never goes over 15, and you may notice here that there is a plus sign, and I said only comparators can only subtract, but I used a special thing for that. If you look here, this is giving a signal strength of 14 into the carry in, and this over here is the base from which it starts. That's also 14. So if there is a carry in, it will make this a signal strength of 15. So that will give, it'll have the effect of adding 1, and then the 14 will be subtracted, and then the plus 1 will remain. So that's how the first algorithm goes. And I'll show you the hardware to these algorithms once I'm finished reading the sign. And then if there is a carry-in, so if it is not greater than 4, so if it's 10 or more, then S, the solution for that digit, equals A minus 10 minus Cn minus B. And this is the algorithm I got from the BeardedCow's video. Previously I had separated it into 2 parts, but that's not even worth elaborating because it's just dumb and inefficient. But anyway, this is the one I'm using here. S equals A minus 10 minus Cn minus B, and C out equals 1. So the C out equaling 1 is basically like you're subtracting 10 from S. So if you had 9 plus 8, that would be 17, then S would be 7, and C out would be 1. Then you would take this, and if you simplify this, you will find that it comes to A plus B plus C in minus 10, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. And the way I did this for the carry-in is I have a furnace here, and that will give a signal strength of 10, but it will subtract 1 right here. See, this will give a signal strength of it's got to be 13, I guess. Yeah, 13. So when this is 14, it will subtract. Oh no, this gives out a signal strength of 14. So when it has a signal strength of 14, this will cancel out, and it won't subtract anything from here, so that will stay 10. But if it has a signal strength of 15, like I said it did in the carry-in before, it will subtract 1 from here, so that is like 10 minus C in minus B. And now I will just go in and show you how the main part works. Kind of a strange way of doing it, I guess, showing you how the carry-in worked before the main process. But anyway, here goes. So red is A and blue is B. We'll start off with the first half of the algorithm. So there is no carry-out. What we have here is 14. It's coming from this hopper, and then A will be subtracted from 14. So this could be a maximum of 9. 14 minus 9 is 5. Now in order for this to be less than 10, then it would have to be only 1 if this is 9. Actually, yeah, it can't be less than 10 if this is 9, but then it would go to the second part of the algorithm. I'll explain that later, but let's say this is actually 4, okay? And let's make the 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. There is no carry out because it's only one digit. So what happens here is 4 is subtracted from 14, so now this has a signal strength of 10. It goes into here, and it subtracts 3 more, so that now has a signal strength of 7. And that subtracts it from this comparator, which, because there is no carry-in, has a signal strength of 14. And then 14 minus 7 equals 7, which is 4 plus 3. So that goes into this comparator, which then puts it to the magenta wool, which I have universally signifying the output. And then you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 signal strength. And the redstone is off put by 1 block because the redstone powered will also light up the lamp next to that. So that's just for visual effects, but this right here has a signal strength of 7. And this comparator over here, that is what checks for a signal strength of at least 10 or greater than 10, so that will determine whether it has a carryout or not. And if it does have a carryout, that will turn off this comparator, and it will light up this torch, and that goes to the carryout. So got some redstone dust leading into this torch. Actually, that's not right. I had to change that over here. Or no. Yeah, I did have to change that. I forgot to do it on this end piece and over there, I guess. So I'll just go ahead and fix that real quick. Okay. Alrighty then. And now just over here, because it should not be negated, actually. That's the carry out bit, and I was mistaken. And there we go, all fixed. Well, now this is the carry out, and it will send that signal strength to over here. This is the same as over here, just so I could see where it all fit together. And now if there's a carry out, it will send it there. And also, this torch is powering this block up here. Oh, this is, oops, dang it. That button was only necessary to keep redstone away from pointing at a block, but it's not needed anymore. Okay. Alright. Well, making some last minute repairs. So anyway, this also points into this block, which sends the signal up here and over to here. And if there is a carryout, this torch will be on, which means this redstone will be on, which means the comparator that gave the output for when it was less than 10 will be turned off, because this is a signal strength of 15, and this will never be 15, or even 10 for that matter. So once that happens, this over here, actually, you know what, I think of it, it could be 10 sometimes if it's not checked, but it'll never be 15. So that's all well and good. But anyway, coming over here, once this comparator is turned off, then the addition up here can take place. So what we have here is the second part of the algorithm. I'll just fly back over here to remind you of that. That would be A minus parentheses 10 minus C in minus B, close parentheses. So first we'll do the parentheses as of order of operations. So we have 10 minus C in minus B. So here's the 10, and then we will subtract the C in. I already went over that before. This will output a 1 if there is a C in, because the signal strength will be enough to carry through, but it will output nothing, because this will cancel it out if there is no C in. So this will stay 10 if there's no C in, and it'll go to 9 if there is a C in. Then it comes over here where the second subtraction is performed. It subtracts B from whatever is left of that 10, and then outputs the signal over here, and then that is subtracted from A, because it was A minus parentheses. And then that right there is the output, and this just carries it through, and it outputs it here if this is turned off, which it is if this is turned off. And so if there is no carry, then this comparator right here will stay inactive and it won't light up this dot. But you know what, that's dumb of me. Let me just go ahead and add in a carry. 4 plus 8 is 12. There we go. Now we can see what's going on here. So what we have here, there is no carry in, but 10, and then 10 minus, let's see, this is 8, so that's 2, and then 4 minus 2 is 2, and it comes over here, and this is off, so the comparator lets the signal through, and it just comes down here onto this, which is 2, because the first digit of 12 is 2, and then you can see the carry-in is on, so that will translate to a 1 as it carries over to the next adder. So I hope all of that wasn't too confusing, and moreover, I hope I explained it well enough, because I'm kind of going off on a rant here, if you would consider it that. But anyway, that's That's how this adder works. And they can be chained together, like so. Over here, I've chained 6 of them together. And the neat part about these adders, unlike binary adders, which the carry in can affect the carry out, there is no way that the carry in can change the carry out for these ones. So if you have, say, 9 plus 9 on this one, it'll send a carry out of 1 to this one. And then if you also have 9 plus 9 over here, even with that carry in, it still would be 19. So that's the highest possible it can go. And the carry out would be 1 here. So you don't have to wait for this one to determine this carry out and then to determine this carry out. So what you have is a maximum speed for this adder, or I guess a maximum slowness. And I have that represented over here. So if there are no carries, this whole thing will take only 4 ticks, which is pretty fast. That's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's some redstone, and then here's the inputs for the adders. Input, and it's done. That's how fast it takes. Then, if there are non-adjacent carries, it takes 8 ticks. Now, what I mean by non-adjacent carries is, for example, if this one has a carry out, so this is 8 plus 8, say, that will have a carry out over here, but if this one is 4 plus 4, then even with the carry out it'll be 9, and it won't have a carry out, which will mean it will be faster, because as it turns out, the bottom part of this algorithm, which is the first part if there is no carry out, is faster than the top part by, I think, 2 ticks. Yeah, it's 2 ticks, because the bottom is 4 and the top is 6. So you'll actually save a little time if there's no adjacent carries. But if there is at least one adjacent carry, so this would be 8 plus 8, and then this could be 7 plus 4. So it will have to ripple over. Not really ripple, because like I said, this does not affect this carry out, but because this has the carry and this is taking the top part, it actually takes extra time to update, and that extra time is 4 ticks, because you'll have 6 ticks for the top of here, and then another 6 ticks for the top of here. So that's how that works. That's the speed. And so this whole thing, up to as many bits as you want, you can have like 10,000 bits going across there if you somehow manage to get all the chunks loaded. And it will still only take 12 ticks. And you know what? I said bits, and that's not correct, because this is not a binary adder. The correct term would be digits. But anyway, that is really cool. And it does save a lot of time using a decimal adder based on, compared to a binary adder. And all I have left now is to give you a little demonstration. As you can see, they're pretty close together, so I had to meander the lamps around a little bit so they don't get caught up. But the red and the blue across from each other are pairs. Not these two, those are not pairs, but this is pairs. So let's pick some numbers. I have up to 6 digits here, so I could add into the hundreds, thousands, get a result into the millions. But I think I'll just add, let's see, 634. How about it? Or you know, now let's make full range of the digits here. Okay, so let me go ahead and
145,179
plus
384,466. Alright, now if you'll wait a moment, I'm going to get an actual calculator to check this. In the meantime, I'll fly over here and let's see what the answer should be. I did not put a carryout light here, but as it does not go over the million mark, there is no carryout, so it's only in the 100,000s, but it should come up to 634,000 and 29,000. These only go up to 9, by the way. 629,645. Okay, so now I've got a calculator, and I'll do the addition. Let's see what the heck I actually added here. I kind of forget at this point. Let's see. 2, 4, 5, 1. What is that? That is 7, 9, plus 3, 8, 4, 4, and 6. 6 equals 629,645. That is exactly what we have here, and I am very pleased with how this turned out. So I guess that's the end of the first episode. I don't know how many episodes there will be, how often they will be, or how long the videos are, but I think this is fun, and I'm going to keep doing it when I can, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something as well. So that's all for now, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!